There was so much talk about what a perfect fit he'd be with the Yankees to pitch, to DH, the short porch in right field. He's a left-handed batter. It didn't come to fruition, and now, knowing what we know, that it's all West Coast teams, there's 7 that he's going to interview face-to-face. I know you got to ask everybody to the dance, but it just seems like maybe he could have whittled this process down a little faster, just sticking to West Coast teams.
This is a very curious thing. I know a lot of Yankee fans, you know, on the radio show, and you follow him on Twitter, are very, very upset that he didn't choose the Yankees. And you have to give him credit for believing in what he likes and what he wants and what he's looking for in a destination. But one thing that just doesn't make sense to me whatsoever is why have people fill out those questionnaires and make presentations? Because from the people that I spoke to, the Yankee presentation was really tight and really impressive. But if you knew you didn't want to play in a big city, why even engage the New York Yankees? That doesn't make sense. If you didn't want to play on the East Coast, why even engage the New York Yankees? And the only thing that I could come up with is that his agents, being as smart as they are, probably were appealing to him. Please consider the Yankees, because what he can't make as a 23-year-old in the free agent market, he could probably make off the field in New York. But I guess they appealed to him, and they wanted to keep the Yankees in the mix, but he finally said no. But you know, the small-town aspect of it, I would like to talk to Ohtani. You know, Chicago's not on the West Coast, and it's not a small town. And the Dodgers, they are on the West Coast, and that is not a small town. So there seem to be mixed messages out there for sure, but I just don't understand why the Yankees were forced to fill out questionnaires when this kid knew that he didn't want to play on the East Coast and didn't want to play for a big-market team.
Michael, you talked about the curiosity of it, and you kind of addressed it from Ohtani's side of things. How about from the Yankees side of things? Can you feel a loss about something that you never had?
It's a great question. I don't know if they were counting their chickens before they hatched. I think they realized how perfect a fit he would have been in this situation. He would have been the 5th starter or one of the 5 starters. And also, they technically don't really have a full-time DH, so that would have fulfilled his desire to be a full-time player and a hitter when he wasn't pitching. But I think the Yankees are okay. I think that they could shift. There are other ways they can go. They could reassert their desire to have CC Sabathia come back, look into the free agent market as well. But the one narrative, guys, that I don't agree with, you know, I've read this a lot over the last day after Ohtani said that he didn't want to come here. Well, the Yankees really were in trouble. Now they're short on pitching. Well, no, they're not. If you look at the 4 starters that they have for sure, that's about as good a 4 starter as most teams have. And, you know, you still have CC Sabathia, who seems like he wants to come back as well. And he was 14-5. So those are 5 starters. And you have Chance Adams and you have Justice Sheffield, guys that are ready and probably will be up at the Yankees at some point in 2018. I think the Yankees are in pretty good shape. Yeah, they've got to fill some holes that they thought this one guy would fill. But these are holes that could certainly be filled. I don't think that they're caught short at all.
You know, Michael, I'm glad you brought up CC Sabathia. Is there any chance we don't see him in a Yankee uniform in Tampa, Florida during the month of February?
I think there's a chance. I think if he outprices himself, you know, 14-5, 3.69 is really an outstanding season. And the way he came up big after losses, that's going to be something that will appeal to a lot of teams. And, you know, CC, I think, loves playing in this area, he moved his family here. He's a part of the New York metropolitan area, and I think that he'd be loath to leave. But remember, this guy made about $24 million last year. And I think he fits into the Yankees more in the $8 to $10 million range. And if he's cool with that and he's made enough money in his career, then I think he definitely comes back. But if there's another team that suddenly pops up and says, you know what? We'll give you closer to what you want. You're coming off a great year. Why should we doubt you? I don't know if the Yankees will go that high, especially with a guy whose knee is questionable and you don't know if it's ever going to give in again. So I'd say I'd put it at 85% that he comes back. But there certainly is a legitimate chance that he goes somewhere else, especially if the Yankees try to keep the payroll low and definitely under the threshold, then there's a chance he could look elsewhere.